In the last episode in this series we're doing on UX leadership and strategy, I emphasized that a big part of your role is to provide resources that empower others to create great user experiences. And one example of this is your design system. And I really can't overstate how important a good design system is if you want to move away from being an implementer to empowering other people in the organization to start doing their own user research and testing. People will need to mock up pages, will need to visualize things that they want to test. And while they could use wireframes and low fidelity material, having components that they can easily assemble in Figma or a similar tool provides something much more realistic to test with. With a robust design system in place, people can start mocking up things in Figma without needing to understand all the intricacies about how it works. Let's examine what makes a design system successful. While I can't delve too deeply into this topic because there are entire courses dedicated to creating design systems, I do want to outline a few key points relevant to what we're talking about when it comes to UX leadership and strategy. A design system is crucial for several reasons. First of all, it provides efficiency and speed. Reusable components reduce the time from idea to visualization and from visualization to implementation. Secondly, it's got built-in best practice. Things like accessibility and UI standards are incorporated into the system so that your stakeholders don't need to understand all of these technical aspects. Third, it can be scalable. Anyone can create an interface without your constant oversight and intervention. And finally, it encourages collaboration because a well-built system can serve both designers and developers, facilitating smoother teamwork and faster turnaround times. So to create a design system that can effectively replace individual screen building, you need several key components in place that might not initially occur to you. The first is you've got to have comprehensive documentation. Clear guidelines help everyone understand how to use the system correctly. For example, I've seen cases where people misuse components by placing them on an incompatible background or creating awkward component combinations. And just like brand guidelines that specify logo usage, your documentation should clearly outline the do's and don'ts of using components. Secondly, you really need to make your design system developer friendly. The system should work seamlessly for both designers and developers should be able to easily translate Figma files into code by identifying components and their corresponding code snippets. And this is going to be especially important if developers are some of the people creating mockups. And talking about code snippets, we need to make sure that there's reusable code elements for every Figma component. Next up, you need to make it modular. The system should be able to adapt and grow over time. In some ways, you need to think of it as an organic entity that will need to accommodate new requirements, components, and styling changes, especially if you go through something like a rebranding effort, which is going to affect things like color and typography. And finally, and the one that's probably most forgotten, is governance and maintenance. There's going to need to be long-term updates and maintenance, and that is going to be as part of your team's responsibility to ensure that these systems remain relevant and effective well into the future. And while creating a good design system requires significant effort, it ultimately empowers others across the organization to handle interface work independently. However, the design system is just one piece of the puzzle. We also need to consider other tools that we can make available to people, and that's what we're going to explore in the next lesson.